We are breaking into your afternoon programming right now to let you know what corridor leaders are doing to prepare for new historic flooding in eastern Iowa.
Right now, CBS 2 News has a crew at Cedar Rapids City Hall. Leaders are gathering there to tell us what their latest plans are. Let's go live now and see what's happening. We're waiting for this press conference to start. Let's listen in.
Acknowledge in the audience, first of all, Senator Liz Mathis, Senator Wally Horn, Senator Rob Hogue, Representative Kristen Running Marquardt, Representative Art Stade, our county officials who we work very, very closely with, particularly through these kinds of events, and behind me, the members of our city council and our mayor, as well as a number of our department directors. Again, while no one knows exactly what's going to happen, we believe that communication and caution, preparation, and response is absolutely critical in an event such as is being predicted. So we want the public to know that we have the staff, the resources, the equipment, the knowledge and background to address the kind of event that is a potential based on the best information that we have. The city has, with our partners, learned a tremendous amount since 2008. We have new equipment, resources that we didn't have before, and most importantly, we have new training and better capability than we had in the past. Unfortunately, experience has given us better preparation, and I think that the public should be confident that the city and our partners will do everything we can to properly respond to this potential incident. What we've done in our preparation is a series of meetings have occurred, and for today what I want to do is ask a number of experts from the city perspective to step forward and talk about exactly what we may confront and the kinds of preparation the city's putting forward in order to respond to those possibilities. The first individual that I would like to introduce is Jen Winter. Jen Winter is the Public Works Director for the City of Cedar Rapids, and Jen will be talking about really the city's preparation, the kinds of response that we have practiced and are ready to implement, and the kinds of equipment, manpower, and resources that we're prepared to put forward to protect the city over the next couple of days. So, Director Winter.
Thank you, and good afternoon. Currently, the river forecast is projected to crest at just over 24 feet on Monday, September 26th. We will continue to monitor this over the next few days. This level will likely fluctuate some as we get additional data in and as actual rainfall totals and any additional rain that we get over the next few days is accounted for. City staff has been undertaking preparations. We'll continue to monitor the situation and the conditions going into this weekend. We want to remind everybody that the safety of the residents is the top priority. We want to assure the public that our crews are and will continue to monitor these conditions as we deploy measures to try to keep our community safe and protected. Currently, we've got crews. You might see crews around the city deploying pumps, plugging some of our sewers, and identifying strategic sandbagging areas around the community. These plugs, as the river continues to rise, these plugs will help the water from inundating the sewer system, hopefully minimizing any backflow of sewer systems. These are already being deployed. You may see crews around town currently. If the predictions of the 24 feet hold true, it's anticipated that we will have flooding occurring in the areas of Time Check, the downtown core, the Newbo district, and Czech Village. These road closures are being planned preemptively on Saturday. We are coming up with, as the river continues to rise, we will be beginning to close some of these roadways in advance of the rising waters. We want to close them before the water hits the road for the safety of the general public. These closures will continue to be posted on our city's website, and we will also be sending out media releases as we close down these roads. In addition, we'll have to preemptively be shutting down some of the traffic signals. So you'll see some of our traffic signals in these areas being shut off and going to stop conditions. We ask that the public please be aware of this and take the precautions necessary. Again, we don't ever want anybody driving through standing water. If you see standing water, please turn around and find a different route. For the low-lying areas that see water impacts, many of you have backflow preventers on your sanitary sewer systems. If you do not, we suggest that you place a heavy object, sandbag, metal plate, something over this to prevent any of the sewer backflow as the water begins to rise. These will be measures that you can take currently now, before the river gets to its crest level. As for sandbagging, we will be releasing some additional information on potential sandbagging areas around town. We are looking at identifying 2 areas, one near the City Services Center and another in the Nubo area for residents to come. As a reminder, any equipment, shovels that you can bring is always helpful. We can provide some of the materials, but we don't always have the shovels and equipment to help. So again, we'll be sending out more information on that either later today or first thing tomorrow morning. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Chief English to talk about public safety measures.
Thank you. My name is Mark English. I'm the Cedar Rapids Fire Chief. Some of the things I'm going to say, Jen just did it, but I think it's good for everybody to hear this repeatedly. Safety is our #1 priority. We want to continue what we did in the flood of 08. If you remember, this city had no fatalities, and we're very proud of that as a whole community. So whatever efforts need to be taken or you're advised to do, please do those. You should feel confident we have an incident management team in place that has been training even before the flood of 08. People with specialized training that go across the state. They've been deployed across the country in managing large incidents. That our city's operations center will become live. We call it spinning up. That'll be 8 o'clock Sunday morning. At that time, we will look at the latest projections. We will look at the data, the predictions, and we will start to make the decision then if evacuations will be warranted. Remember, if we do get to 24 feet, homes and businesses will be impacted. If it gets to 24, they will be impacted. If you are asked to evacuate by the police, fire, city government, please do so. It's for your best interest. That helps keep our people, public safety employees, and all city employees out of harm's way to get somebody that should have evacuated earlier. Leave flooded areas. Don't, as Jen said, don't drive through flooded areas. You don't know what's happened to the roadway underneath the water. Another one to remember is if you get water in your basement, do not get into that water. I've seen that before. The water can get energized and people can be electrocuted. So stay out of water in basements also. If you live in a lower area, a flood-prone area, take precautions. Move things up, move them to a safe place, move them out of that area. If you look at the maps, see where you live, what 24 feet looks like. If you're even thinking about it, go ahead and move those things. Be prepared. Again, as I said, don't drive through water. And the last thing I had is, as I said at the beginning, safety is our #1 priority. We want to keep everybody in this community safe. So please keep an eye on this, watch the media, and be prepared if you are going to be directly impacted by this water. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. I'd now like to introduce Chief Wayne German, Police Chief, Cedar Rapids.
Good afternoon. Thank you. I'll just reiterate what's already been said and add a few points. The police department is already beginning to mobilize all of our officers. We work very closely with all the departments within the city, but specifically with utilities, public works, and the fire department. We have incident command structure in place, and we will have police personnel at the city EOC as well as the county EOC. And we are also prepared to put into place the emergency staffing plan, which will have all patrol officers working 12-hour shifts throughout a 24-hour period. So we'll have maximum coverage of police officers out in the city to be able to assist Public Works with road closures, and also the fire department with their needs, and also the public safety needs of the city. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. I'd like to call Steve Hirschner, our Director of Utilities, specifically to address our water system as well as our wastewater system.
Thank you. Steve Hirschner, Utilities Director. First of all, I wanted to say that due to the precautions that were put in place after the 2008 flood, our water supply and treatment facilities are protected above the current projected levels. That being said, I would always recommend that we use water wisely. There's no sense wasting that precious resource. The other thing that I wanted to mention from a water standpoint is we are responsible for the 5-in-1 dam. At this point, based on the current projected levels, we will begin raising those slide gates that are the final gates that we would open on that structure starting late Saturday, early Sunday. That's when river levels are currently projected to rise above 10 feet, and that's when that's the only time that we can start to raise those slide gates. So that's when we'll start initiating that effort. As far as our water pollution control facility, that is our wastewater treatment facility, we're preparing for availability and activation of our facility's flood protection system that has also been installed since 2008, and we will prepare to implement steps with that facility as we reach the 12-foot flood stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate all the comments from our directors today. As hopefully everyone has heard, and we will allow time for questions after the mayor makes his comments, but again, we've learned a lot from 2008. We've made a lot of improvements in our infrastructure since 2008 that will serve us very, very well today and in the coming days. Obviously, we are a community that is very cautious with these kinds of events, and it's absolutely critical for us that we act in a cautious manner, and that's what we're doing today and over the coming days. Very critical to us is also communication, and we appreciate the members of the media and the public that are here today. And we do plan on having a daily press conference here at City Hall, 10 a.m. each day for as long as necessary, probably until Tuesday, to keep the public and the media informed, make whatever announcements are necessary. We'll continue to update our website and provide as much public information as possible. As city manager, I'm the person responsible for operations of the city on a day-to-day basis, but in particular, during times like this, I'm the individual that will be coordinating the internal resources. Additionally, we have Mayor Corbett and the members of the City Council who provide a very important policy-making and support role, obviously every day, but in particular in events like this. So it's now my pleasure well, I guess we should take some questions. Well, why don't we take questions first, and then I'll have the mayor wrap it up. Yes, go ahead. I apologize.
The Tiger dams,
right.
The water-filled bladders, and the HESCO barriers that were purchased since the flood of
Sure.
2008 adds about 2 feet of protection. When will those go out, and where will you put them?
Sure. Thank you very much, Mr. Fransman. Jen Winter, Public Works Director. Yes. So the question was, we have Tiger dams and HESCO barriers and other kinds of equipment that were purchased after the flood, and when do we plan on deploying that equipment? Jen Winter.
Our plan right now is to start deploying that equipment tomorrow. We're working with some private contractors to get some additional resources and equipment to help us deploy those. So our city crews today are working on kind of our first level of protection, and our city staff, along with contractors, are looking at deployment of those, we hope as early as tomorrow.
Where are you going to put those, though? I mean, there's been various places they could have gone and time checked, that they've been tested. And in fact, I think size for that, but I mean, is Nubo a little more vulnerable? Would you put them there?
We're actually in the process of evaluating that right now based on how high the river is going to get, where we feel like we can provide the best protection. So the final areas for that, we're still identifying.
Now, back in 1993, which was the second record flood, there were temporary earthen dikes constructed by what is now in Greedion and some other places. Is that in the cards, since obviously the levee system is just barely started?
You know, at this point, we're identifying all options. We do anticipate construction of some of those. Again, today has really kind of been our planning day to determine what methods of protection we need to deploy where.
The flood response manual that you have up on the website, do you use
Right.
this almost as a checklist, or how do you go about it? Do you start at the lowest number and then work your way
So
up?
the question is, how do we utilize the flood response manual? Jen?
And to answer your question, yes, we really do kind of use that manual as a guidance for us. As the level fluctuates over given days, we may need to change what we're putting in place, but it really is kind of items in succession. So we will start with those items at the lowest level. So as the river comes up, we're providing that base level of protection and then putting additional measures in place as we can.
How closely will you be following the manual, or will you vary from it at all?
Okay, so there's a question about how closely we'll be following the manual or where there'll be variances from that manual.
In general, we follow the manual closely. You know, and in any given event, based on the conditions and timing, we will make some changes to that. But in general, we will follow the manual.
Where can city residents be looking to make sure when they need to know if they should evacuate? How can they get their most up-to-date information?
Okay, so there's been a question about how can city residents get the most up-to-date information. I think, Maria, why don't you respond to that? Maria is our Director of Communications for the City of Cedar Rapids.
As was mentioned earlier, we will be having a regular news conference every day, probably up until Tuesday at 10 a.m. We also will have information coming out in news releases and on the city website. Right now, this news conference is live on Facebook as well. So opportunities like that, we have a text alert system, so residents can sign up for text alerts on our website, and they will get up-to-date information about road closures and other information that they might need pertaining to this incident. So I would definitely suggest people keep an eye on the website.
Other questions? Yes, Todd.
With regard to your temporary,
Dorman.
temporary control measures, what's the highest crest that you can handle?
Regard to the temporary control measures, what's our highest crest? Jen?
Right now, our plan is to put measures in place to try and protect as much as we can up above that 24-foot level, up as much as 26. Again, that is much higher than our major flood elevation, which kicks in at 16. So it depends on the event, how fast it comes, how high the water gets. But right now we're doing our best to see if we can protect from upwards of 24 to 26 feet.
At what level do the implements over at the water utility service, at what point are those compromised?
So in terms of utilities, Steve Hirschner, could you address impact on water and sewer?
All wells were raised to a level 3 feet above the 31 feet. In addition, the flood protection system of levees and flood wall out at the water pollution control facility also is protected to that level. I would point out that water infrastructure, pipes, sewer infrastructure will be underwater. That's why we want to encourage people to use that water wisely, proactively, as well as manage what wastewater they may discharge as well. But the facilities themselves, the wells, are all protected to a level above the previous flood of record 2008.
Now, there's been a lot of buyouts since 2008. you know, a large number of homes no longer exist. It's green space. I'm thinking Time Check and some other areas. What's going to be the impact of that? Does that have, even though the levee system is not started there, flood walls, whatever, you know, is there going to be some potential benefit by having the water able to go there without damaging anything? Have you factored that in yet?
That is factored in. I think there's significant benefit to the work that the city has done since 2008. Those acquisitions allow in many of the areas the river to breathe. And so those strategic measures that we've taken, and we've talked about a number of those, are definitely going to put us in a much better position to face this kind of event.
It's been said that homes and businesses will be impacted if we reach 24 feet. Is there any estimate at this point how many would be impacted?
We can't make an estimate of that right now. So, but as I said, we'll be having a daily press conference, and we'll know more each day, and as events change, we'll keep everybody updated. Oh, okay, thank you.
For those
yes.
businesses in the downtown area, what kind of notice do you anticipate on these road closings so that we can move IT equipment and others?
Okay, so for businesses in the downtown area regarding notices on road closures, Jen?
Again, we're anticipating that the water is going to start really coming up on Sunday. So depending on how fast it comes up, you know, we'll wait as we can to close those. But if you are a business in the downtown area, you know, the more time you have, the better. As long as the forecast doesn't change and it does stay at 24 feet, you know, we do anticipate some level of impact to those businesses. So my suggestion would be to, you know, start sooner than later. We likely in events like this cannot always give, we'd like to give 24 hours notice. We may not be able to do that. And I would say minimum, I have to check with staff to see a minimum when we can get out. We would hope no less than 4.
We have about 600 to 1,000 people coming to Nubo City Market on Saturday. Will we have a problem with any road closures there? They'll be out of there by 2 p.m.
So it's a question regarding Nubo City Market and potential impact of road closures. Jen Winter?
As I mentioned, we really don't anticipate the river coming up until Sunday. So at this time, we would not anticipate having to close anything down before that event.
Thank you. Any other questions before I introduce the mayor? Yes.
I think it was mentioned that you guys are contracting with some private businesses for some equipment. Is that just because extra equipment is needed to handle it?
Sure. We want to be cautious, and we want to be ready. So the city has, as has been discussed, a variety of ways of fighting this kind of flood. It was mentioned we've got an excellent interim flood protection plan. The HESCO barriers are one piece of that. Obviously, sandbags will be an important piece of that. We made a variety of improvements, but we're mobilizing all resources. And you know, it's our opinion that there may be some costs, and then you know, it's certainly our hope that things work out extremely well. But we're not saving a few dollars now. We're making sure we have every resource that's necessary. We have, you know, behind me 20 people or so from the staff perspective and our leadership, but we have over 1,400 employees, and we don't act alone. That's why our associates, our friends from the county are here as well as others from within the community. So we're not acting alone. We have the people, we have the equipment, we have the technology, we have the know-how based on what we've learned to do our best to minimize impact to the community. And we very much appreciate the public support. Again, it's our intention to keep the public up to date, keep the media up to date. We're going to need everyone here to work with us. And certainly from myself as city manager, our city staff, our city council members, and our mayor, you know, we are here until this incident is beyond us. I mentioned a few moments ago that while I'm responsible for day-to-day operations, our City Council and our Mayor are active. They're up to date. They've received all critical information this morning, and we at the staff level very much appreciate the active engagement of our elected officials every day, but particularly in times like this. So it's now my pleasure to introduce Mayor Ron Corbett.
Thank you, Jeff. Well, as you can see, we have a team in place, and the team is prepared, and the team will execute. But we've been here before, unfortunately. But if you believe in experience is the best teacher, we've had a chance to learn a lot since that 2008 event. The most important thing as a community that we learned was to use every precaution available. I want every property owner, whether it's a personal property, a business, or a nonprofit, to please look at the map and look at the projection of 24.1 feet. If you own property in that blue area, that blue affected area, you need to begin flood mitigation efforts. Whatever those efforts may be for your individual building or home. Could be relocation, it could be moving to higher ground, or it could be simply sandbags. The city is taking this event very seriously, and we're putting in plans today. Citizens, property owners need to do the same. So please look at that map and determine where your location is on that map and how that blue flooded area potentially can affect your property, and begin the mitigation effort today. So we'll be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock with any updates. As you can see, the forecast can change. Just yesterday we were looking at 15 feet, and now we're up to 24.1. But we have 4 days to get ready, and now is the time to start. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Before I conclude, Leslie Wright, are you? Yes. So to just from United Way, Leslie Wright is here just to talk about some volunteer response, to have that discussion early rather than later. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Two things the community can help with. One is information. I want to remind everyone that just like in the flood of 2008, United Way 211 is available, and we'll be collecting information about the status of the community in partnership with the city and others. So if you're not sure where to start looking for information, that is a good place, for 211 or 739-4211. The other thing is, if you're interested in volunteering, we're already getting those inquiries through our volunteer center. There will be a button on our website if you'd like to register because you want to volunteer and you don't know where to go. You can register there, and we again will be working with the city and others to deploy people to the right places at the right time. So just wanted to let folks know that that's there, and our website is uweci.org.
Okay. Thank you very much, and we'll reconvene here tomorrow at 10 a.m. Thank you for being here.
You've been listening to a press conference with City Manager Jeff Pomerantz introducing various city leaders to talk about the plan. People first is what they're saying. Because of the flood of 2008, we've learned lots of lessons. Scott, you were here
Absolutely.
in 08, so you know what it was like. If the river crests, what the plans are, and the fact that they have the resources now to try and minimize the impact. That's as much as they can do, is minimize the impact.
That said, Jen Winter, who is the new Public Works Director since the 2008 flood, is stressing that time check, new bow, the downtown district and Czech Village will all be impacted, and that was supported by Mark English, the fire chief. He says homes and businesses will be impacted. They're going to have regular news conferences every day at 10 o'clock. We will carry that live on our website, cbs2iowa.com. Also, the city says it is prepared right now to handle water as high as 24 to 26 feet, even though right now the crest is projected to be at 24.1. We showed you a map just a little bit ago, but joining us right now is Chief Meteorologist Terry Swales, who has history here and knows about the impact that this will have in the local area.
Sure. I think it's very important, once again, to take a look at the map here and give people an idea of the magnitude of a 24-foot crest here in Cedar Rapids. You can see the main channel of the river there in blue, but the light blue on either side of it is where the water would go at 24 feet. So you can see that spreads out into a large portion of the city. Let's go back and just take that off one more time and show just the river. And there you can see there's the city, all the roads, and again there's the main channel. And now we'll go back to 24 feet and watch what happens at that level. That's a lot of real estate, to say the least.
And a lot of homes that were rebuilt in that area, especially on the west side, they will be impacted and flooded. The fire chief again urging people, if you are asked to evacuate, please do so. Don't go into basements. And of course, there are a lot of civil service and public safety officials who are out there who are willing to help to minimize the impact.
And there will be road closures and street lights that will be stop and go. So pay attention to where you are. If you're downtown, you may encounter some of that. Some crews are already out getting ready. You may see some of them. They are working on the flood protection system that's been put in place. And Terry, this is scary, really, to see. The white portion is how far out the water could go.
Yeah, and let's zoom in a little bit too. We'll get more into the downtown there. And this is really sad to see this again. I mean, a 24-foot crest is a long ways from 31 feet, but it is going to cause problems. And just to put this in perspective, we have records that go all the way back to 1851 here in Cedar Rapids. And before 2008, the river had never been higher than 20 feet. So this, if we hadn't had 2008, would be a tremendous flood for Cedar Rapids. But when you compare it to 2008, obviously not as big, but it's still a very significant event, and it's going to impact a lot of areas. I think one thing we have to stress, though, is that it is still a fluid situation in the sense that it is still raining up to the north, and more rain is in the forecast at least through Sunday. The way we make these forecasts, the National Weather Service, their hydrologists put estimates of rainfall into the actual crests to determine how high or how low they will go. So as more rain comes or as less rain falls, those numbers do go up and down. So obviously the worst case scenario is if we get more of these heavy rains to the north, that's all going to come downstream and increase the crest. But if the rains are less than expected, it could go down a little bit. But even so, I doubt much less than 22 feet.
How certain are you of the models at this point?
I'm pretty confident. The hydrologists have been doing this a long time. We have good models now. You can see what we're capable of doing when we have had past floods like this. So I suspect they're pretty much in the ballpark. So just we just don't need any of those 8, 9, 10-inch rains like we had last night to the north of us. You saw what happened. The crest went up like 9 feet in 24 hours. Yeah. So that would be the worst case scenario, to say the least.
You are going to see public works personnel out in the streets right now taking action, so we prepare for the crest on Monday at this point. We want you to stay with CBS 2 News. On air and online, you can always send us your pictures because, you know, while we're preparing for flooding, as Terry mentioned, up north, they're already dealing with it. And there are a lot of images coming into the CBS 2 newsroom, so please send us your pictures so we can share what the impact could be here in Cedar Rapids.
We want to thank you. Any parting words, Terry, before we go back to regular programming?
I want to show a few more things, if I could, here, just to give us an idea of what, because we're not the only ones involved in this. There's Vinton, and there's Cedar Falls, and there's Waterloo, so we have some other rivers upstream, too, that are going to be impacted. You can see the river levels there and what's anticipated. Major flooding in the Cedar River at Cedar Falls, and that is expected to crest, it looks like Sunday morning. Then it starts moving slowly downstream. By Monday morning, it's over in Waterloo. Major flooding anticipated there at 24.8 feet. I think that's only a couple feet short of 2008. And then from there it goes on down towards Vinton, and that's expected to be major too. So I'm anticipating a lot of problems in the Vinton area. Their crest should come sometime Sunday night from the looks of things. And then finally on down towards Cedar Rapids. As it stands now, a crest of 24.1 foot sometime maybe Monday night or Tuesday. But again, depending upon what happens upstream, that could come a little bit faster, even a little bit slower, but that's a pretty good indication of where we are there. And this is interesting too. These are some of the impacts. And Scott, you know, you were back here in 2008. You can remember how we just saw things start to go underwater. But at 24.2 feet, water reaches the bottom of the First Avenue Bridge in downtown Cedar Rapids, and we were all just freaked out back in 2008 when the actual water went over the bridge.
Covered the bridges. There was only one way to get across town. That was 380, and the water was just below the 380 overpass, you know, over
Very
First
close.
Avenue.
So yeah, there's going to be some major impacts, and it really starts hurting pretty good around 18 feet. That's when things start going under pretty well.
Already in green, they have a shelter set up, and Waterloo West High School got out early at 1:15 today because of a power outage. Scott and I have been looking at Alliant and some other power companies, and we've determined that there is not a widespread outage at this point. I think there might have been 21 at that point, so power is coming back to whoever lost it. But as Scott mentioned, be on the lookout for, in Cedar Rapids, the crews that will be plugging up the sewers. They will be getting sandbags. They also mentioned, Jen Winter mentioned that they do need shovels. So if you have an extra shovel and you'd like to donate it, please give it to the city.
They'll also be disseminating more information about the need for volunteers and how you can help a little bit later on this afternoon. And of course, we'll have all that information for you on Live at 5, our news at 6, and of course, Fox 28 News at 9 and CBS 2 News 10 at 10. For right now, thank you very much for joining us. Remember, we're all in this together. Let's work together and we'll get through it. We right now take you back to your regularly scheduled program.